everyone, it's Andrea from Movers and Bakers. Today I'm going to share with you how I make my chocolate chip confetti cookies. These are beautiful, chewy chocolate chip cookies packed full of gorgeous, colourful confetti sprinkles. You are going to love them. Let's get baking. These are super quick to make. Let's get going. So first of all, I'm going to put my butter. This is unsalted butter that I've cubed, but really important for these cookies, your butter has to be cold. So grab your butter straight from the fridge and you don't have to have it at room temperature like a lot of other baking. So that's all my butter. Can't get it out. Let me try that again. All your butter is going into your mixing bowl. I'm going to use my KitchenAid today, but you can use a handheld mixer as well, or just do it by hand, whichever works for you. And to my butter, I'm going to add some caster sugar and some soft light brown sugar. And once you've got those in your bowl, it's time to get mixing. And once your butter and sugars are combined, we're going to add in our vanilla. So I always use a good brand of vanilla and make sure vanilla that you use is vanilla extract, not vanilla essence. It just gives you a much better flavour. You don't get the synthetic tasting flavour of vanilla. You get a really good, warm vanilla flavour. So I'm going to use a teaspoon of vanilla, and we're going to give that a little mix again. And to this mixture, I'm also going to add my sprinkles. Now I have little round confetti looking sprinkles rather than the kind of long ones that you get. I prefer these ones in these cookies. I just think they look much more festive, but you can use any other ones that you want. I also really like these ones because they don't bleed in my cookies when they bake, and because I cover them, as you'll see, on the outside as well, I really appreciate that these stay intact. So these are my preferred ones, but you can use any ones that you have. So I'm going to pop these in as well. And to that, at the same time, I'm also going to add my chocolate chips. Now today I'm using milk chocolate chips, but you can use whichever ones you have handy. You can use dark or white or a mixture of any of them, whatever you prefer. So we're going to mix that through. And once that's completely mixed, it's time to add in our dry ingredients. So into my bowl, I'm going to put my sieve on top, and I'm going to pop my flour. This is plain flour into my sieve. And to this, I'm also using some corn flour. And then I've got here some baking powder and some bicarbonate of soda. I've got a bit of both. And finally, some salt. I have all the quantities of all my ingredients in my blog below this video, so if you want to know the exact quantities, do check it out and you can make this yourself. And while I'm sifting, it's a great time for me to remind you as well to like this video and to subscribe so you always hear if I release new videos. And once you have sifted your dry ingredients in, it's time to mix again. Now you don't want to mix too much at this stage, because once you start adding your flour in, your gluten will get activated and it'll make really tough cookies. So you want to mix it until it's just coming together. So I'm actually stopping this before it's completely mixed, as you can see, because I want to scrape my bowl down to make sure everything gets really well mixed without having to overmix it. So now I've got all that mostly combined, it's time for our last ingredient. So I have here just one egg, but I'm going to give it a mix before I pop it in, just because then it means I don't have to spend too long mixing this mixture and overworking my dough. So you just want to mix it, it's just to combine the whites and the yolks. That's all I wanted to do there. And I'm going to pop this into my mixer, and it's literally going to take 2 or 3 turns around, and that is all I want to do. All right, and that is it. It is all coming together beautifully. So you can see my dough still has little bits of flour in it, and that is fine. I'm going to bring the last bit together with my spatula and my hands. So my bowl now has little bits of flour on the edges, so I'm just going to scrape those down to make sure it all gets incorporated. And also with stand mixers, I actually find that the bottom sometimes doesn't get mixed up properly. So this last bit I like to finish off by also turning my dough over, so that the bottom bits of flour or anything that's got stuck under there get incorporated as well. So once you have checked everything is really well mixed, it's time to weigh out our cookies. Now, because I'm making chunkier, larger cookies and I want them to bake evenly, all of them, I actually prefer weighing my cookies out. So on my scale here, I've just got a little bowl that I'm going to use to measure it out, and I want about 90 to 100 grams of cookie dough for each cookie. So I'm just going to use my hands and I'm just going to grab them. Now, when you grab this, you want to make sure that you're just grabbing it really gently. You're not squeezing it together quite yet, because you want the loose weight measurement of this so far. So once you have weighed your dough out, it is time to squish it all together. So you're going to tip it into your hand, make sure you've got all that cookie dough, and I do it over my bowl so anything that falls down goes back in with the rest of my cookie mix. So you're squeezing it together very gently just to form it into a ball, enough that it sticks together. The warmth of your hands will help it melt a little bit more on the outside and stick together. So I've got a lovely ball of cookie dough there, and now I have some extra sprinkles in my bowl here, as you can see, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this in and give it a bit of a turn around, just pressing those extra sprinkles in to help them stick. So you want to coat as much of the cookie dough balls as you can in these extra sprinkles. And what that's going to happen when you bake them is you're going to have this lovely exterior of these beautiful confetti sprinkles on the outside of your cookies when they've baked. So that is my first cookie dough ball done. I have here a baking sheet that I have just lined with some parchment paper. You can use anything that you've got. If you've got silicone mats or parchment paper or anything, and I'm going to use up all my cookie dough and do that for my cookies. This dough will make about 7 cookies, and once I have done them all, I will pop them in the freezer. They need to freeze for at least 30 minutes. Once they have frozen, they will bake in my oven at 200 degrees. They take about 10 to 12 minutes. Mine take a bit longer, about 12 minutes to bake. So you want them, they will spread out as they bake just a little bit, so make sure you leave room. I do 4 to a tray, just to allow enough space for them to spread out a little bit. And when they are done, you will see they will start to go slightly golden brown just around the edges. When you take them out of the tray, out of the oven, try that again. When you take them out of the oven, they will cool completely on your cooling rack. And I will see you on the other side with my cookies ready made. So my cookies are out of the oven. I left them on the baking sheet to cool down completely, which took about half an hour or so, and they are ready to be enjoyed. So you will find when your cookies come out of the oven that they have just started to brown just around the edges, and they will have spread out a little, but they should still be fairly chunky. All that's left now is to show you the middle of these beautiful little cookies. So they're lovely and soft. They will continue to cook on the baking sheet, which is why you leave them on there. And then you will have these beautiful, soft, chewy cookies in the middle. You'll have lovely melted milk chocolate chips, like I use milk chocolate, and absolutely beautiful. You're going to love these. And there you have it, my chocolate chip confetti cookies. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it and subscribe if you have, and I shall see you next time. Happy baking.